Hello, all. All right.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, welcome in Thursdays at 2. And we've got a special surprise guest. Eric, you want to fill us in on this?
Yes, Miriam just emailed me this morning, and she has some important information to get out. And of course, we're happy to do that for her at any time on any show. And couldn't be more proud to support her. She is one of my absolute favorites from Scientology up north. Make sure you sub, like, and notifications set to all for Miriam. And here she is, and we're gonna give her the floor and let everybody know what's happening.
Thank you so much for having me on. Yeah, we basically have been working on a project recently with my Danish friend Rose and the girls behind, or the guys behind the SPTV.space. So Ali Xenus and Fluffy Squirrel, due to this book release that happened in Denmark a month ago. So there's a very new book out in Denmark, currently only in Danish, which tells a story of abuse of several children in the Sea Org. And this book actually got a lot of publicity in Denmark, and a very large newspaper contacted the Danish parliament. So our government representatives, I don't know what you call it in the States,
Same
MP.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So and they actually promised to look into investigation on Scientology's abusive practices in Denmark.
That's beautiful.
And, yes, and Fluffer had this amazing idea to use this idea of revoke Scientology's tax exempt status in the States and have something similar for Denmark. So me and my friend Rose started to work on a letter that anyone can use. It's available already on sptv.space. I think Selfless has the link to the site, but you can also find it on sptv.space under resources, where you have a email template both in Danish and in English, and a full contact list to the full Danish parliament. So from prime minister to just a regular member of parliament, you can send an email to anyone. You can use the email template we have, where we have specified some specific concerns we have regarding Scientology, Sea organization, child abuse, overworking of the Sea Org members, elderly abuse, and so forth. Also regarding the Purif process, because there was actually information we received in the summer where a 10-year-old girl was looking for a twin for around same age to take part in the Purif. And we actually saw with L. Ron Hubbard this girl being taken to the Danish Org in the summer. So she went through her purification process in the summer. So these are some of the concerns that I mentioned in the letter. But of course, you are more than welcome to write your own experience, for example, in Scientology, if you've been involved with Scientology, or whatever you have yourself seen or heard around the community, or anyone you know that has been in Scientology. So you basically have free hands. There's no rules with this. The email is going directly to the MP. Maybe the ministers might have their assistants reading or checking out their email. But we want to give the pressure. We want to give the volume now. This is not about, whether you're Danish citizen or you're American citizen. You can be anywhere in the world. You can say, hey, I have heard that this happens in Denmark. This is going on. Denmark is basically, after US, one of the biggest Scientology locations in terms of Sea organization. So we really have a chance to hit them hard over here if the government gets involved. So
and at the end of the email, I'm going to write, "Give Hub Cult back his money."
Exactly, his IAS commission. So anyone can participate in this, and just if you have time to just write one email, then just write one email or copy the email template. And I would suggest to just select one person to send it to, because if you send to the full address list, then it might go to the spam filter. So it's better to just to send one email then instead.
That's a good point. Yeah.
but anyone can participate from anywhere in the world. And I know my friend has sent emails. I have also started to send emails, and my friend has got some responses from the members of the parliament. So don't be
Fantastic.
discouraged. They might say, I already know about this, whatever, we are looking into this, or I'm not involved with this area, whether it's regarding children or work environment, whatever. We don't care. We want them to know. We want all of them to know. And I hope they will get hundreds of emails, each and
It's
every
a
one.
PR war, right? So I mean, at the end of the day, I don't care who knows. Anytime someone knows Scientology sucks, I'm very happy.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I'm getting even more, passionate about this day by day. Bianca, Bianca
I
Scientology
love
from,
Bianca.
yeah, she just made a video. She met a ex Scientologist in Sweden. She's met a friend who lives in the same city. And this person, when they left Scientology, they were being harassed for 6 months. They were sending messages where they were threatening, if you go to the media, we're gonna expose everything we know about you, slashing their tires, doing all kind of threats towards them. So it's exactly the same here. Even though we're on the other side of the planet, it happens here exactly the same way. Also
Well, they
with
have to do the
restraining
same,
orders and
with the
all.
same book. They're restricted to a single kind of list of strategies, and so
Yeah.
it has to appear the same way unless they're derivating from the writings of L. Ron Hubbard, which I guess they're not meant to do.
Exactly. And that's why, it will really hurt them if the Danish government will require them to, for example, reduce working hours for the Sea organization or improve their living situation or increase their pay.
Oh,
Because that would be a horrible situation for everyone else in the Sea Org, because news would travel fast. And that
right.
will be the end of the Sea Org at that point.
So on a labor rights case, basically.
Yes, basically,
That's so
yes.
great.
Because, yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, because basically in Denmark there is a limit on, a maximum amount of hours you can work,
Right.
and you're required to have 25 days off per year, paid.
And would they possibly be in violation of both Denmark's labor rights laws and, I mean, excuse my ignorance, but I assume you're a member state of the EU, right?
Yeah.
So they have their own strictures for labor rights for the entire Eurozone. Would they possibly be in violation of those as well?
Yeah, most probably, but in Denmark it's even more strict, I think, than on the general EU level. So we're talking about 5 weeks of paid time off.
Okay.
And they've been writing on this volunteer basis, whatever, for the past 50 or 60 years they've been over here. But it doesn't fly. And that's why we really want them to look into this. So,
and the RPF has got to be completely illegal in Denmark. Completely.
Yes, and there's actually been some articles about RPF, and I think they also shut it down here in 2009 or something like 2010. But I have some contacts who have been in the Sea Org after that, who can tell some stories about abuse that is even worse than in RPF. If I quote him right, he said, "You would wish you were in RPF instead of going through this."
Ooh.
So I hope to get to talk to him at some point, but it's difficult with the ex-Sea Org members and the connections and family and friends, that it can take time before you're able to come out and talk. So.
Okay, well, let's make sure everybody goes to Scientology up north, and you should go there anyway, just to make sure, even if you already are subbed, to make sure you're still subbed.
Yes.
And I know this from myself. Like the other day, I clicked notifications on at night on Cultology, on all. In the morning, the light wasn't even on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm telling you, you have to go and check and see for yourself if you're still subbed, if the notification bell is still on, and so you should be doing that anyway. And then when you're at her site, make sure you like everything that's on there. and then leave a bunch of loving messages. And then I'm sure there's going to be something. Is it on your community page, or where do they go to find what we're showing them right here?
Yeah, so on my community page, yes, and I made a video also on Saturday regarding this. But yeah, absolutely, you're more than welcome to come and check out my channel. But most importantly, go to sbtv.space and go to the resources tab and go to the Denmark list and send an email, even just one email, and I'll be forever grateful.
Keep us, you know, let us know what's happening, and keep us up to date. And if there's ever a time where you need a minute, like I said, please let us know, because this makes me very happy to support anybody with doing stuff like you're doing. And so
happy to be a conduit for this information. Absolutely agreed.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, we're trying to find different ways now to make an impact over here. But I think this will be very powerful if we can block their email inboxes completely with the Scientology emails from concerned people around the world. That would be amazing.
That would.
Yes,
well,
I will take the full responsibility for that.
Looking forward to doing it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you very, very much. So much. We really appreciate you, and I love your channel, and I love everything you do.
Thank you, and have a good Thursday.
Okay, yeah, take care.
Thank you so much.
We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Wow.
Excellent. That's powerhouse.
And a great grab on the fly. I'm glad that you're able to take that up, and we're able to facilitate that. It's just, you know, happy accident for me that I just happened to be here. That was wonderful to be in support of that program. She is doing excellent work. That whole team over there, I mean, can very well be used as a template for how to bring these things forward fast.
She's amazing. Amazing. Yeah.
So
that team over there is phenomenal, and I'm so excited for Bianca. I can't see straight. So I'm so grateful that she has that someone she can reach out to, you know.
Yes.
That's so big.
Yeah, just up to it. So yeah. Amazing.
Well, we have another superstar, and we're actually running out on time, so we better get him in here.
All right.
And then, because I know he's got to go to the doctor, so we better get him in here.
Yeah, so, I mean, I know him as one of the truest, most, like, altruistic, selfless people out there on the street, really giving it their all. I met this person within 5 minutes. He gave me his tripod. It was just indomitable spirit. And, yeah, at long last, we have Matthew, MD Media 18 to the stage.
Chat, everybody, how you guys doing? Eric, Selfless, good to see you both.
Great to see you too.
We got the A+ MD Media in the house.
Right on.
Loving it.
How you guys doing today?
Good. Is anyone else hearing that? It sounds like a hurricane.
Yeah, you got
some. You know what? It's my air conditioning. Let me turn it off.
Yeah, you got some background noise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Is that better?
Oh, sure. I mean, intentionally in the summer heat, you know, a good little wind tunnel. So
it was right above me. So I mean, literally right blowing down on me.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah.
Well, we thank you for being here. It's a pleasure, and I didn't get a chance to lather your ass up yet. I think you're one of the kindest, hardest working people I've ever seen, and I absolutely adore the way you look at everything, the way you support everybody. You couldn't give a shit about anything except positivity, and I just think it's wonderful. And don't change. It's a wonderful gift. So, you know, no, I'm really happy to call you a friend.
I appreciate that from both of you. Thank you very much. I try to stay positive. Yes, I've had some rough times since all the past, since the encampment and all that. It's been tough. I'm not going to lie. Scared of certain things, being put aside, you know, in the other group, whatever. And I was afraid of that. And I've gotten a lot of hate because I went to DOA side. Not that I'm not knocking DOA. He's a great guy. DOA's treated me from day one with respect. Never disrespected me, and I don't disrespect him. I get a lot of hate for that. But I'm my own person. I make my own decisions. I got a lot of hate for getting rid of everybody, and we don't need to go into all that, but I make my own decisions at the end of the day. And that's what I'm going to continue to do, and I'm going to focus on that. Not let all this negativity that I've been getting get in the way, which it has been. And it's I've come to the point where I've wanted to quit several times, but I've had talks with several people who are like, no, don't quit. And so I'm sticking it out. I'm not going to quit because of Laura, because of you, Eric, because of Serge, Liz Ferris. I promised Phil Jones for his kids, and now Jared Gill. I'm going to make that a focus of mine as well. Blowdrill's nephew. And
I love it.
And that's what I'm here for, and for Laura.
So your focus is amazing, but it's your heart that gets me, and your work ethic is tremendous. You remind me a lot of me and Selfless as far as, you don't say a thing. I'm the whiny bastard. You guys don't say shit, but I mean, I see you out there when it's 117 degrees in the shade, and I mean, it's a bitch. I know what you're doing, and you don't even complain. Same thing. I saw Selfless, doing a 4-hour fucking 109 degrees, he melted at the end, but it's 4 hours. Every 15 minutes you hear me whining. but we all stay out there, and I know how hard it is. And you don't say shit. You just remain positive, and I just think you're an amazing template for what protesting should be. And the fact that you have empathy, for everybody, and you understand we're all human, we're all fallible as hell, and we're all going to be we're all going to have fingers pointed at us one day for some fucking thing. So how do you want to be treated? And you're the kind of guy who you should probably be a judge or something.
No, I'd be too nice. Everyone would get free, so it wouldn't be right. I mean, that's why I could not be an officer, police officer. Everyone would be set free, and I'd be like, sorry, have a good day. Sorry, let me have your firearm. Let me have that. Have a good day. I mean, I'm just too nice in a way I think I am, and that's why I couldn't be certain things, and I just try to focus on what I want to do best, and this is my main mission right now.
Well, it's important to have people that resonate with the pain of the world and can see it. Like, you're one of these people that I've seen you see somebody in need first on the street and without thinking minister to them. And I know what this impulse looks like. At least I'm able to recognize it. I sometimes have it, but you have it instinctively and reflexively in a way that is really admirable. Along with that, it seems like you just have an eye. Some of the footage that you're able to get, the time that you spent, but what you were able to get at Blue over the summers, some of the most revealing stuff that happened, like the most kind of disgusting displays of their misuse of young people.
And I've gotten a lot of flack for that too. I've been reported by Child Services. They reported me for that.
Yes.
People are trying to turn me into the bad person for that. So that's why that video is on private. I mean, because I was advised to.
But in the moment to just to have it documented for the purposes of any further action against those people.
Sure.
Of course, when you're doing this stuff right, you're going to take a bunch of slings and arrows.
Yeah.
Consulting with my parents on this, taking kind of similar flack, and having the same doubts about, wanting to leave, them communicating to me, and also about Pearl, like, oh, wow, you're taking this kind of incoming, you must be doing some truth telling. Because that's generally what happens to people that are doing these things that are this hard with issues that are this complicated.
Sure. Right. It was tough. It was a tough situation that day. And luckily I turned that footage over to a friend of mine. She's in the Department of Social Services. She's a manager, and she said she'll hand it over, but she doesn't know where it'll come out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
because I saw, I mean, not that bad, but other things that were similarly bad with very young people in the parking lot. The one that comes to mind this one evening, I came upon this person probably, leaving a course and going to a pickup truck. And I started a conversation with him about, Scientology. And I look down at the truck that he's approaching, and I come to see there's like some illumination coming from under the dash in the passenger side. And I see that it's like it can't be more than a 10-year-old individual who's holding an iPad there, who's been ducking under the freaking glove box while this person's on course. And I start calling him out for it. And he yells back, "I have no right to film him. How are you doing this? And this is violent. You're doing this to a child." I'm like, "No, I'm concentrating on you misusing this person and leaving them in a car in violation of I don't know how many freaking laws." Right. So it's interesting how they will generally immediately take this tack. It's not that we're uncovering some crimes. It's you who you're shining this light on this. It must be something wrong with you, you weirdo. Sure.
Right, exactly. And I learned in the beginning, I'm like, I felt terrible about it. But now I'm like, you know what? I can't let it bother me.
No.
I did what I felt was right. I didn't know it happened until everyone's like, "Oh my gosh," in the chat. It's like, "What the heck was that?" And I didn't know until someone made a comment what it was. I'm like, "Whoa, time out."
Yep.
And it was like, put that on private immediately.
Yep.
That's when I didn't have any mods. I was doing it all by myself. And I'm like,
which is so admirable. Front to back, like the most ethical thing that you could do. Being there, having the thing on, and then as soon as you could see that it could do this kind of damage, and just to preserve it as evidence if there is a violation, private.
Right.
Just perfect.
Yep.
To me.
And it's never been public since. Never.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is what we're here for, is to uncover these things and to use them in an ethical manner and not in any way, even in the appearance of exploitative manner.
No, exactly. Not at all. It's not for that. It's to bring Scientology down for what they're doing.
Right.
Not what we're doing. We're bringing the light on. Like I said, we're shining the light on this stuff.
Yeah. So
it's sad. It's terrible.
I mean, I already had, a lot of admiration for you, but certainly and the incoming. And so like,
lighter subject.
Have you told how you got into this? Do we know this?
From flipping through YouTube when I was laid up with surgery, YouTube, and just watching things, and I'm watching this guy on Hollywood Boulevard selling Kool-Aid. I'm like, what the heck? And he looked exactly like my brother-in-law. I'm like, I texted my brother-in-law like, "Oh my God, are you on Hollywood Boulevard right now?" It's you. He's like, "No, why?" And he's like, "Oh my God, it could be me." And just from then on out, I was laying in bed all day watching certain things. I'd watch that. I got hooked.
Yeah.
More and more, and I looked into it. I looked into Streets, looked into more. And then I'm like, all right. And then I was following DOA. The first night he got arrested, the very first time at La Poubelle.
Yep.
I didn't know him. I drove down there immediately, and ever since then. And I said, okay, maybe I was talking to one of his mods behind the scenes. I said, I'll just go and film behind the scenes. I will never go live. I will never be doing face-to-face or any of this. It's just to record.
Yeah.
But then here I am protesting and yelling at the top of my lungs in the very beginning. And I toned that down.
I mean, if I was in the state, I think, I had the impulse to drive out there too. But, I was all the way on the East Coast. That was quite a dramatic night. And just the absolute overreach by the police.
Yeah.
The nature of his arrest that night was so egregious.
Yes, it was.
You know how the sheriff has the one of the worst reputations, the LA County Sheriff, of any institution on the planet. And I was watching the Streets last night, and he was like, "Believe it or not, the LAPD is worse."
Yep.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. And it's like, and then within that, like certain divisions are like more and more heartless. So Hollywood division, like having interactions with them is really scary because they're completely zombified with police corruption. There isn't a bit of help that's coming to you. It is all fangs.
Sabina PD is a different story. They're a little bit nicer, somewhat, but they're still assholes, in my opinion.
Sure. Well, it is America.
And I just found out recently that I was able to get all the body cam footage except for one, which they were supposedly still possibly pressing charges for me doing that chalking incident when the sergeants came out that one night, April 19th.
Yeah.
What was the actual, like, what did they write you up for?
That's
it can't
right.
be for chalking, can it?
They didn't write me a ticket or anything. They said we could possibly turn this into the prosecutor and see where it goes from there. Or the
because of writing on the ground.
Chalking. Yep.
Nobody's going to want to bring that shit.
So I called
the
city attorney's office yesterday and asked, what's going on with this case?
Right.
Like, we denied it. The judge, we didn't want to see this. The attorney doesn't want to deal with this. It's pointless.
God.
Have a good day. We'll send you a letter so you can get that body cam footage that you'd like. I'm like, perfect. Thank you.
This was
so it was going to be.
She just told me this yesterday.
You know how Streets talks about how, like, they know that they can't, like, they'll arrest you, right? So they can waste 6 hours, 8 hours, knowing they're going to release you. And the excuse they use is, we got the wrong dude. You can go now. That way they're off the hook. But they can wait. So this is a good way that they can like hassle us for chalking when in reality they know they got nothing.
Nothing at all.
But do we want to risk 8 hours, you know, just so they can say, oh, you're not selfless. You can leave. Whatever.
And to be honest, I've been wanting to go back and chalk there, but it's not worth it. It's not worth the hassle at this point. Right now, I mean, I'm not going to deal with it. It's just, I'll go protest, which I'm going to go back there and protest strong. But no, nothing like chalking. I'm just going to do what I need to do. And I've got a few ideas.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, it would be easier, I think, if, you know, there was like some kind of forward-facing legal decision that would protect you there.
Right.
But it seems to be up to kind of at least a potential arrest or miscommunication would be up to the municipality's police force's discretion. So yeah,
you're not fine. A $50 fine for the first time, then it goes up to $100, and then like $200, and then if they want to arrest you, then they can.
Damn. Okay.
But I'm not gonna. Why pay that $50?
Nope.
It's not worth it. Just to be written up and risk things like some of my hobbies that I like, which I could have taken away.
Sure. No, absolutely. Yeah, I mean,
I'm not risking a restraining order. They've already threatened me with that.
Yeah.
So,
like, if you had, you know, some lawyer that's backing you up with it. I mean, some people protest with this in mind, you know, to like try to challenge these kind of gray areas in the law and make some judge come down on one side or the other when you know that you have the law on your side, but that takes like a huge investment of time and whatnot, and it takes a huge amount of money, generally.
And I don't want to waste my time doing that.
The city and the police force will argue this to the ends of the earth. They don't want to be challenged on these things, and they will just by how they operate ride over these lines, and it takes people bringing cases to brush it back.
Right.
They know that most people can't possibly mount some kind of case like that against the city. So
it's crazy. But other than that, I'm just doing my other things. I'm working on a few other projects after I ran into an officer that had a canine unit here in Claremont that deals with mental health. They go on the scene with that dog and they'll deal with mental health patients rather than drawing their firearms and whatnot, which I think is pretty cool.
So they show up with a service dog?
She has a lab. Her name's Priya.
Wow.
They'll show up on scene. They'll decide if it's safe or not. They'll send in that canine, and the canine will detect depression, mental health, whatever it needs to do, calm that person down. And so I'm working on some theories. I'm going to do some interviews. Hopefully I'm going to interview her and her dog.
That's really
I've interviewed with her and a few other search and rescue friends of mine. That she has 3 labs that are search and rescue for San Bernardino County.
wow.
Then I have one friend. He's LAPD bomb squad at the LAPD at the LAX headquarters, LA airport. I'm sorry.
Right.
So he runs the dogs at the LAX.
Yes.
So hopefully he'll let me interview him and his canine.
Well,
So
yeah,
I think there's
how that program came about to be able to provide to, I mean, even that the city was thinking of like funding a pilot program, like which politician, which city councilor, or was it like the community that raised the issue? And I'm just really curious now. This sounds.
It was the city of it was Claremont PD Foundation for Canines. So
Okay.
a foundation gets all these dogs. And we don't have mental health. We have huge mental health in Claremont. So I don't know where it came about, but basically the community pitched in the funds, and we got this dog. And now we have a lab. I think we have 2 labs, and also a bloodhound. So apprehension dog, search and missing person dog, as well as analysis mental health dog, which is really great. That's the first one I want to interview.
Absolutely.
Because that is the most important.
I think there's a lot of legs to that too, because I watched a documentary that blew my mind about. I wish I could remember what state, but they took the most incorrigible prisoners in the place. I mean, these guys are already to even qualify, you had to already be in fights with the correction officers,
Right.
and just you spent X amount of days in solitary, like the most incorrigible. Then someone came up with this idea, which is fucking brilliant. And they took cats, and they gave each psychopath a cat. Now, of course, at first I'm like, "Holy shit, he's going to eat the thing, or what? What is he going to pull him apart?" Like, I was a little worried, but instantly these fucking guys turned into just they're like, because if anything goes wrong, they're going to take the animal from them.
Yeah.
So you have to now do everything right, get up, make your bed, whatever. Don't get any hassles. Don't get caught doing shit. And you can keep the cat.
Yep.
These guys, like after a month, nobody did anything.
Yeah.
Because they wanted that love that they got from the animal.
Yes.
And I was like, that's the craziest shit I've ever heard, because the whole program costs like $11.
Right.
And it was the most effective thing ever.
Right.
When they threaten dinners, right? Because another thing they do is they'll threaten your meals. So you go back to that block of shit versus spaghetti or whatever.
Yeah.
None
Yeah.
of that stuff mattered. None of that mattered. But the threat of losing your kitty, ooh, shit. So I just think there's something to this whole animal mental health thing that's hopefully we can keep taking advantage of. That's a genius thing.
Well, it takes kind of the very rare pure sociopath to not have this kind of connection for, that, love without restrictions that, an animal might show you, that very many of these people, I mean, haven't had maybe ever in their life, or for just a very long time, and they've had their brains reordered by the stress and strain of operating in a world where they thought that they had to fight for absolutely every inch that they ever had. And I mean, and it's the same thing I saw when this came in vogue and was introduced into assisted living facilities and nursing homes. These people that were not as social, or approaching less verbal or whatnot, had this connection with these animals that opened up this whole they could all of a sudden see the rest of the people in the room because of their connection to this animal. And so this became in vogue. I think every activities director at every assisted living facility has the number of these kind of traveling petting zoos, where they bring a bunch of animals into a facility like that for the purposes of lifting up people's spirits. It's incredibly effective.
I know how happy I get just seeing my cats come to me. Imagine if you're, if you've spent, like you just said, 7 years, stabbing people just to feel like you have another minute of peace. And then all of a sudden this just bright light of love comes up there, doesn't judge you, licks you on your face, and doesn't know that you killed 72 people and is purring on you, and you're like, I mean, that could really change your whole head around.
Yeah. Kaiser Permanente, Kaiser right by Big Blue. They have I've seen them walk. They have 3 golden retrievers. I've seen their nurses walking 3 of their dogs.
Yeah.
For their patients, but the same thing that you were just talking about, selfless.
Yep.
Every nursing home should have them, hospitals. I mean, they're great.
Totally.
That's genius. Well, I was going to ask you before I forget, Matt. You go running over to fires and shit. Was that something you've always done, or is that just a recent thing that you're doing now?
I've always been into it. I mean, I've never filmed any of it because we haven't never had one this close to my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've always gone to certain things like that. And it's fascinating to me. And I mean, not that I'm out there lighting fires or anything. It's just, I love weather. If we had not weather out here, I'd chase that, but we don't. We have fires. We have earthquakes. Can't really chase an earthquake.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they are, if you've ever been in the presence of one of the major fires out west, it is, like some demigod force of freaking nature thing happening that's so dramatic. I remember the first time when I saw like one of the giant fires that was encroaching on the hills of San Francisco, like lick over the last mountain, and everybody could see the fire and smoke. It looked like the entrance to hell. And I had the same thing when I briefly lived in Colorado. I mean, those fires there, a band that I was playing in lost their home to one.
Yep. They're devastating. Like in 2003, we had I can't remember what fire it was. It was started in San Bernardino, and I'm in Claremont, so that's 25 miles away.
Yep.
And I was working construction at the time, and there was a house I was building back in the hills of Laverne, which is another 10 miles away.
Yeah.
West, back in the hills, it was all stick framed. And I told everybody, make sure this water's on.
Yeah.
Fire hose is on. And I was staying on the property because the fire is going to come. No, it's too far. Sure as shit. 2 nights later, that fire raged because of Santa Ana winds.
Yep.
So fast, destroyed so many homes in Claremont, and it stopped dead nuts at the house that we were at because the fire crews got there and saved it. And I was there, hosing down everything. And
wow.
Sun came up just in time that the wind stopped, and they were able to save it because the helicopter, and there was a dam. So the helicopter were able just to scoop up right there and just douse everything in Laverne.
Lucky.
Yeah.
So, that is very lucky, but that would very much pique my interest in those kinds of fires and their destructive force. So, yeah.
So,
yeah.
Did you have to go at 2:30 because it's 2:40? I just want to make sure you're okay.
Yeah, I gotta leave in 2 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. Well, why don't you? Was there anything you wanted to? Did you want to take a moment to get something off your chest, or say hi to anybody, or do anything?
No, nothing off my chest. I'm just trying to keep a positive thing. I hope everybody can get kind of back semi-positive.
Yeah.
Working together instead of opposite. I'm seeing that some are starting to work together. I'm seeing some are starting to mention people, which is a good thing. Like DOA mentioned Jay today, which is great. Denver Jay.
Yeah.
No animosity towards Jay. I mean, yeah, you don't have to like everybody, but Jay was a good protester, effective protester.
I was a huge fan, before whatever happened.
Yes,
like I get it, man. He was freaking great.
Yes.
Freaking great.
And I'm not bringing up negative. I mean, we just got to keep positive from here on out. We can't go back to the negatives. We all fuck up. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what happens. Nobody is perfect. Forget about the past and move forward.
That's to me, the whole idea is if you're true to yourself, none of this shit even matters, because the truth is I'm on my time. I'm on my dime. I'm fighting a cult and I'm trying to heal myself. If heaven forbid everyone in the entire community said we don't like Raider, it wouldn't change a fucking thing for me. Not one goddamn thing. I'm still going to go out tomorrow and do my thing. Okay. And if there's 3 people following me or 50,000, great. As long as those people are there for the right reasons. And I'm 56 years old. No one's going to tell me or influence who I can talk to, who I can see, or what I can do. And again, if I want to like I told everybody, you know, months ago, if I want to like selfless, I don't give a fuck if everyone doesn't like self. It's up to selfless to not like me. Okay.
Exactly.
That other than that, I don't give two shits. I'm an adult. No one's gonna tell me who I can hang with and what I can do. So as long as we're all good people and we follow our hearts, it's not a big deal. You know, it's not, there's not a lot of contention. It's just only when, you know, it's the control that's the problem. And obviously, if you have people coming from a high control group, we're not going to be big fans of control.
Sure. And I will say one thing I did have right after everything went down, every sides were going, and I did have an extra account, which I changed the name to the good one. This is out there, everybody. So get this once, and this is it. I'm not explaining it anymore. I had the good one because I wanted to go into Jay's chat. I wanted to go into other people's chats, but I was afraid I was going to get shitted on for going into that chat and talking.
Sure.
I told a few people that I trusted. Majority of them, I trust. Still, one person I told, shit hit the fan. Sure enough, that alt account, the good one, popped up, talking shit in everybody's chats about, you know, saying it was me because people knew it was me.
Right. Yeah.
So that tried to cause a lot of division. So I reached out to each creator in an email, not through chats, and explained to the situation. And they understood. Not one negative thing from each creator. And you know, I still see it every once in a while. They did it all wrong, but
so you did it perfectly by keeping that shit private. That was fucking totally professional. It's exactly what I expect from you. You know, there's no purpose in shitting up the place publicly, unless that's what you want to do. So we can all speak privately. And again, just because you speak privately doesn't mean people are going to be okay with everything. We're six people from Kevin Bacon. We're only one person away from the person you like someone you don't like. That's impossible to avoid. So who gives a shit?
Right.
It's all good. We're adults. No one's fucking 14. No one's in Scientology. Yeah. This is not a cult. I don't have to give two shits about those who disagree with me. I appreciate those who agree with me. That's it.
And I wasn't doing it to harm anybody. It was just so I could go into those other chats and enjoy chat. Say hi to Jay. Say hi to whoever else. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I mean, and that I just want to get that out of my chest. There's no more of that account. That was it, and that was just for that reason. Nothing negative. That's not my intention. People will still think that's my intention, but that has nothing to do with it. I don't have that intention.
That's their problem. That's their problem. Exactly.
Well, yeah, and like I mean that there are some things though at a time if you know, there are deep misunderstandings, accusations about your own person, stuff like that, things that have been that are altering your ability to operate. I think, you know, and when a lot of trust has been violated, some of those things need to be public.
Sure.
I agree with you 100%. If you don't speak up, people will speak up for you. So you got to say something at some point. But my point is, as long as what you're saying is to get something out there, not to put people in a position where they have to say, I'm either on A or I'm on B.
Oh,
that's destructive, divisive, and stupid, and I'll never have anything to do with it, ever.
Well, it's like, look, if you're not recognizing that what you're saying at the time is just your opinion, and you're not trying to define reality for anybody, I mean, that's being an asshole. So like, this is whatever I say. I don't have any truth. Just about everything that I say is in some way not right. Not anything that I say is all the way right. So, like, yeah, it's just my opinion. These thoughts that I have, my point of view. I'm looking at this phenomenon from this perspective. This is what I can give, and everybody has that for themselves, which, you know, kind of makes this a wonderful and complicated world.
But anyway, you better go. I don't want you to be late for your doctor's appointment.
I'm okay.
2 minutes.
Quick, I got this book from the library.
Oh yeah.
So I'm slowly flipping through it.
You need to know.
Yes.
What does it say?
The Scientology Handbook, based on the works of L. Ron Hubbard from 1984.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where did you get that?
It's kind of
the library. I had a special order it for me. Oh, nice.
Scientology based on the works of L. Ron Hubbard. It's very similar.
It's
You know what I always
interesting.
wished I could do is put, because you guys are probably like, I bet Selfless could do this in 5 minutes. But you see that book you just showed, Selfless, at the bottom when it says "What is Scientology?" at the bottom, a POS. Can you write like a POS in white letters right there, so that way it answers the question?
Yes, that's right. Exactly. Yeah. In whiteout. Right. Yeah.
Whiteout. So it looks like his writing. All right, gentlemen. I appreciate you guys all. Chat.
You're
I love you
awesome.
guys all very much. We
I
will all
wish
keep
you
in
well.
touch.
I hope the surgery. You're getting another surgery, right?
That's if my insurance approves it. They
Oh,
approved
shit.
this. They approved the trial, but now it's the surgery center that might not approve the permanent one. So they're looking for other spots. So I'm sure they will, but I'm
Okay.
optimistic.
Keeping everything.
Are you feeling a little better at least after that last surgery?
It's made a huge change. 100% better. Not
Right.
100%,
good.
but I mean like 75, 80% better. I mean, I'm not sore. I can do a lot more. So,
Shit, that's great.
Yeah.
but next
All
is
right.
the issue with the hands, carpal tunnel, and I'm a mess.
That's tough. After construction, did that do some of that? Oh, I mean,
Yeah, multiple. I've had both surgeries on both wrists for carpal tunnel, the release, and then both elbows, the nerve release. All the nerves. So I'm a mess.
yeah.
All
Well,
right, gentlemen, I'm done run.
Okay, man.
I hope you have a good day. Thank you for being here, Matt.
You too. Thank you guys all. Appreciate you both.
All right.
Catch you later.
Fantastic.
That's so cool. I love that, man.
He's one of the strongest ones out there. I've never gotten the hint that he's in this for anything else but the work and support of the victims of Scientology, not for a second.
He's, like I said, he's the guy he could be in a group of 1,100 people, get along with everybody, but because two people aren't going to like you no matter what the fuck. And then he could come over and support you and I if no one else in the world loved us.
Yep.
That's who he is.
Yep. Well, he's seeing the good and seeing the long game, not getting so caught up that in your criticism you have to dehumanize somebody, like leaving the door open, or even better than that, actively pursuing reconciliation, I think, first. So that is a path towards having a bunch of weirdos who are protesting something as hard as Scientology stay together. If we could adopt something closer to that.
He's a live and let live dude, and I think I always am attracted to those kind of people, and that's why I'm attracted to you as well, because you're an artist, and you're the last person who wants to be fucked with, because you are individual and unique, and that needs to show and that needs to shine. And it's like the last thing you are is homogenized and fucking normal. You're a very special person, so it's like, but to let that out and be comfortable with it, you also have to to a certain extent be okay with whatever comes your way, which artists are pretty good at doing, because like I said, something as close to you as a song, you're going to have one person like me go, "Oh man, I love that song, man. That's fucking great. My favorite song." And then the next person's like, "Yeah, that song, and you have to be okay with that. Right.
Right. You have to be
go crazy.
Matter of taste. Well, some people just go straight crazy. I mean, there's some people that can't read any of their press, any of their reviews, because good or bad, it's going to set themselves up for, trying to please that audience or to prove something to them. And then it's not about what you're doing anymore. It's about addressing the concerns of the group that you've attracted. But some people just want to do that. You make art or entertainment that is straight up trying to just like tickle everybody's fancy. But yeah, some people can't handle it at all. But I know art school, it's hard to get through any of that, because one of the first things they teach you is like being able to accept, process, and then react to critique from your peers. And unless you're working alone, you're going to hear right there from the people working alongside of you, oh, you know, maybe not so much that. Could you, well, what do you think about this? And it can't be the end of the world. So, but certainly, yeah, as an artist or any kind of creator, you're vying for your own point of view and, you know, advocating and releasing your own point of view. So, yeah, it has to be like that in a way. But the thing, I mean, I get caught up in all of this. I've got other things that lead me to that. So, like, I've got my artist. That's where I can, like, kind of shine and be this person that I wish I was in all of the other portions of my life. And I still fall down all the time in the rest of it.
Yeah.
I'm a little over specialized. I think artists generally are. Put a lot of themselves and their efforts into that one thing, and maybe some other things suffer for it.
But I think you're inherently able to be a little bit more what's the word, inclusive, as far as listening to something that might not even be near your wheelhouse, because you've probably come up with a bunch of them fucking weirdo ideas yourself, and 2 or 3 of them probably worked really well. So you're also like, I know things can come from a place I don't expect, or from someone who I would least expect, and all that kind of shit. And that's why you probably gave me the time you did, right? You know, when I came on the scene. So all of that plays a role, you know.
Within a few moments, I couldn't believe what I had fallen into, and so I mean, I tried to steel myself to make every amount of space available for you there, because once I recognized what was going on, I'm like, this is absolutely what I'm here for. This is it. Next to any, like, whatever else I was doing at Big Blue, or the chalking, or, you know, talking to the vans or whatnot, making these connections and being able to, like, have the chance to show what you have during this time, that you can come out and tell your story and resist all of these things that you suffered under, and do it successfully.
Yeah.
To model this for other people. Just you being here, like, I have no concept, because I wasn't under the radar, what this, you know, what this would mean for somebody under it, like how potentially liberating it would be just to have somebody like you out there.
Well, I mean, this last couple of weeks has been the most amazing time I can remember. On a couple just incredible levels, where I can't even believe it's me. It's like I'm in a dream. I got a letter from a protester in Croatia, and it's been a big joke on my channel now for a while, because 28 days ago or 3 weeks ago, I happened to see that I had 23, you know, views from Croatia, and I was like, yeah. So we were joking about it. I'm like, we got to get Croatia on our side, you know. Anyway, it just became like a running joke, and then I get this email. I'm like, okay, this has got to be some bullshit. And then I'm like, immediately, I'm like, oh my God, this is totally serious. And it's this lady who's a protester for human rights and women's rights, and she said, you know, that I'm a big influence, and my this and that and the other is why she can keep going, and da da da. I'm just like, what the fuck? Wow. And it just blew my mind, and so I'm speaking with her now. I got a bunch of people who are telling me they're getting their strength together and their courage together to get started. And this is all the shit you told me that was going to happen, that I could do if I started this. And I thought, bullshit, impossible. And now it's happening. And a lady, I spent an hour on a Skype yesterday with a lady from Switzerland who couldn't even type the problem she's dealing with right now, because she just couldn't do it. It's that brutal. And now I know what it is. She told me, and yes, no human should have to deal with any of this shit.
Right.
But we spoke for an hour, and she just wanted to know, you know, how I'm even alive, or how I get through it. What do I do? And we had an amazing talk. And then I woke up to this email this morning from her, and she said she slept like a baby. she couldn't believe it, and that I must be from another planet. And we're going to talk every week. You know, I said I'll always be here for you. But what I really wanted to get across to her and that other lady and a couple other people I'm dealing with in the same scenario is that they're helping me.
Yep.
You see, I'm getting at least as much out of this as they are, probably 5 times more, quite frankly. But whatever, you know. But the fact that starting the channel, which I never thought would work any fucking way, and I only did, like I've told you, to give myself an out, so I could look in the mirror and go, "Hey, I tried it. You know,
Right.
it ain't for me." And now I'm in a position where I'm supporting people, and you know, the greatest gift I ever had was that on Friday. And I'll be grateful if there is a God. I'll be grateful forever that I didn't break down that second, because thinking about it crushes me, because it's just the love. I've never experienced that. And they don't want to be on chat or internet or anything, but when that incredibly gorgeous, super special girl got out of that wheelchair and gave me that big bottle of water, and then a big sweaty hug. If I never get another thing out of this, I'd be good, because the love, like I say, that I just keep spilling it everywhere, and it just keeps coming back at me. And I realize this is the circle. We're just on a track here. And it's like, I'm just focusing on everything positive, any piece of anything that means something to me or somebody else. And it's even affected the way I protest. Like, I don't know if you saw it, but last Friday, and I never thought about doing this, but I basically said like an entire sentence, one big word at a time, as you walk down the street.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, why do I have to smash this into a little?
You
I
don't.
can make this go a block long.
Correct.
And I believe it's impossible. I think we subconsciously read as we go by. It's impossible not to know what that said.
Yes.
And what was such a trip, Selfless, is I triggered myself. I fucking triggered myself. I wrote such a poignant, because I wasn't restricted by 3 words, you know. So I wrote such a poignant fucking track that by the time I read the end of it, I was like, oh shit. You know. So it's just like, I'm at a place right now that is so fucking healthy, where somehow people from all over the fucking place are coming to me, and people people we all know, and I'm just stupefied, man. And like, that was you saying you got to do this, and I'm just like, yeah, right. You know what I mean? Impossible for me to even think this could have happened.
It could be one of the better things that, you know, we see happen here. And I think a bunch of other people immediately agreed as soon as they saw what you were doing. And I mean, I was great. I wanted more of it faster, but I saw a bunch of people rush to your aid early on and help you get together what you needed to do it. And that's like what this community has done for a bunch of people, is by the wisdom of crowds, be like scaffolding for people to get them out there and help them start. And
well, you should take a win. I'm saying this so you can take a win on it too, because again, if that didn't happen, this wouldn't happen. And I'm not going to take it too far, because we could say, well, without chocolate milk, this wouldn't have happened. But right. You know what I mean? It's like, it really is 100% true that this is all happening because, you know, you said you need to do this. And it's like, and you didn't just say, you weren't saying it like, well, so you could heal, but it's like, you can help other people. And I didn't even understand how that meant. That didn't even make any sense to me, frankly, because I'm like, I'm so fucked up. How am I going to help anybody?
Yeah.
Hey.
Well, also, I saw that you could, and I also, I mean, I understand just like from what most of the people in my family are about the how valuable personally giving of yourself this way for other people's betterment is, and how much it can heal the soul and make the world seem manageable, because like you can lay hands to it and improve things. It's a reason to get up in the morning. It's a reason to do anything.
Yeah. I'm just, you know, like when I asked those kids, what can I do? Is there something I can do? You know, and they just said, just keep going, keep doing what you're doing, you know? And, you know, and they raced down because they knew where I was before I left. And I mean, running down the street with a wheelchair, you got to be kidding me. You know, like it's so heavy to me. It's just mind boggling. I'm like, who are you here to see? It can't possibly be me.
Right.
You know, my mind doesn't work like that.
No, certainly.
So, but anyway, that's it's an amazing place, an amazing space. And I'm really, really happy to be able to touch people, and I'm staying with them all. You know, I tell them all, anytime you need me, I'm there, and I will continue to do that. And I mean it. Like, I know I've missed some because of course it's impossible not to, but like I've literally responded to 97% of the comments that have ever been given to me. Okay. Right. Because I feel like if you have the time to do that, and I mean that much to you, I better fucking respond, you know? And that's just how I feel. And this has been an amazing ride. And of course it's a roller coaster. I'm never expecting things to be easy. Most things worth a damn aren't. But this, now I have, you know, my healing is actually other people's healing too. And, and that's a wonderful, it gives me so much strength, you know, because I now have a real reason, much more important than myself, you know, to remain the way they see me, you know? Sure. So it's a hell of a responsibility, and I welcome it, and I'm super proud of it. And I'm just in a great headspace. And I just, like, again, thank you, you know, for like I said, being you, because it's really I can't watch the whole thing. I can only watch 10 minutes at a time because I'm fucking psychotic in that thing. But
fine.
Not one time, like I said, I kept thinking in my head, oh my God, he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Or like any minute you're gonna be like, oh, okay. That's good.
Oh no.
What's coming, dude?
I mean, I am one of these people that will, I mean, I'll talk ad nauseum to like pretty much anybody that I encounter on the street, from whatever walk of life and, you know, where you're at. And I find it's easier that way. Also, I had really good examples of my life of people that didn't need to, that had like extreme amounts of power, that treated people like that. So it's just how I came out. I was recently reminded of that. It's like, no, dude, we trained you to do that. So like, don't worry.
Well, I appreciate it. And like I say, this is, I think our show is better than 60 Minutes Australia already. And
right on. Yeah. Need some shiny banners and stuff. Yeah. Some chyrons.
Yeah. And we already got a guest for next week too.
Wow, you're really reeling them in.
I'm booking the shit out of it.
I love it.
But yeah, just for the 6 fans that we have, we've decided to make it one guest, because the truth is, this was originally going to be Selfless and I's opportunity to bullshit and have fun, and that's sort of impossible to do with 2 guests and not end up keeping everybody for 2.5, 3 hours, 5 hours. So to make this a program where I still get to talk to Selfless, so we don't have to get another program, so that we can do that. So with one guest, I think it serves us much, much, much better. Anyway, you know.
Sure. And it might serve the guests better as well, like to kind of focus on them. And I'm not exactly sure. It would take looking at the analytics, and maybe we're splitting hairs, but yeah, I think it will be slightly more focused and getting into somewhere within 200% of our desired time.
Well, I'm trying to be a better producer because, like I said, I failed so miserably like 5 weeks in a row. I'm like, this is ridiculous. So,
but it's not a fail. It was wonderful. It became like a running thing. All right, we're really going to pare this down. And every time, and the deeper the assertion that we were going to pare it down, the longer it would be.
Yeah.
It's just fun. And it was, I think, a function of the guests that we had. And we just got on rolls with people. Absolutely.
Well, the other thing that made me guilty, I'm sure it's the same for you, but like I started actually having guilt pains for like not telling at least one guest to get there at 2:30 or 2:45. Like the fact that they were there from 1:50 and then we finally get to them at 3:15. I'm like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a lot of time. That's a lot of thumb twiddling. So yeah.
So this makes me feel better because there's nobody waiting, you know what I mean? And we can take, like you say, we can take as long as we want now because we only got one guest.
Sure.
You know. So if we do go crazy, the show will go an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Versus trying like hell to get it, to stay at 2 hours.
Yeah, to keep it under Dr. Zhivago or something. Yeah, exactly. Some epic.
Yeah, we got to stay. It's got to be shorter than Scarface.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Keep it Scarface. That's good. Exactly.
All right. Well, I think we're good. We got a $1.07 in on today. This is a good show, quality show. We finally got Matt in here. By the way, we've been trying to do this for 2 months.
Yeah.
We finally got the man himself in here.
Fantastic. Yeah. It's not for lack of want to have on the show, but yeah, finally at long last, it was great. Great conversation.
That felt like a huge get to me, man, because we've been trying to do that for a while.
And yeah, I mean, a much needed perspective, I think, for everybody to see and hear direct that doesn't already follow them that closely, and people that do. Also, that we're able to insert in there one of the most successful campaigns with a government against Scientology that's emerging right now. So fantastic, and I very much welcome any such ploy like that in the future. That was really great, and
that was cool.
Absolutely.
Well, like I said, I didn't even. I knew you wouldn't. You'd be all for it. So
yes.
And by the way, anyone who's been on the show before, if you have something you need to get out, like that, and we can help. Obviously, we're here for you. So email us and let us know.
Yes.
Anyone who hasn't been on the show that wants to be on the show, email us. Let us know. We're here to not only bullshit and have a good time, but to help any way we can. So
please.
Yeah. Okay. Where's Pearl at? I don't see her.
Oh.
I'm here.
Yeah, just it's dog dinner time. I think that's what's happening.
Dinner time.
Yeah, it's
awesome.
Very happy and quiet time for the dogs.
Hello.
Crazy club uplighting.
Right.
Yeah,
I like that. That was actually cool looking.
Yeah.
Where the hell is that light coming from?
Oh, just magic. It's just magic.
That's cool. I like that. Yeah. All right. Well, listen, you guys, I thought that was a damn good show. I think we got a good one in the books, and we're going to have a hell of a show next week.
Right.
Don't forget Thursday at 2. It's going to be a ripper. It's going to be a serious banger next week. And you'll love it, too, because you're one of the few people smart enough to even understand the whole damn thing from get-go, because it's going to be a complicated son of a bitch. Get your studious hats on. But it'll be a fun ride. I already took it. It's a fun ride. So,
excellent. Looking forward.
All right. All right. Give the doggies a belly rub for me.
Absolutely will.
And we'll see you next week.
All right, later on. Thank you, everybody.
Later.
I guess at
Bye, everybody.
Bye. And